Alright guys, so after playing some games that were actually pretty good, we're going to play something really, really bad. This is an NES game that was released as sort of like a bootleg card. This is Soccer Simulator is what we're going to play from Quattro Sports. This is actually an old Codemasters game that was released. You see Codemasters Software Company Limited. It was released by Camerica, which was a Canadian company that was a version of Codemasters in Canada. This was released over on the NES, and it was released for a version of the NES, or for a thing for the NES called the Aladdin Deck Enhancer, I believe, if I understand how this works right. So, anyway, we'll play Germany against France and sort of see what happens here. And this looks a lot like, the game that we just played the other day. It looks a lot like, sort of Micro Pro's, Micro, whatever it's called, football. And I think this is supposed to be like a clone of, or a version of four soccer simulators. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do there. Alright, this game's pretty bad. This game's pretty bad, man. Whoa. So I used the A button. B to pass, A to shoot. Okay, thank you. Now, how I'm supposed to pass or shoot the ball when I can't see the ball is another question, but whatever. In my experience, the A button does absolutely nothing. Oh, there we go. Now we can pass it. Great. Oh, no, I can't get to it. All right. So basically, what happened here is Codemasters. So Codemasters had worked with with Galoob on putting out the Game Genie, got in a whole bunch of trouble with Nintendo, and so as a result of that trouble, they decided to, I don't know, put together this thing, right? The idea was they put together this thing called, so they'd been making a couple of NES games that were not licensed, and on the NES you have to get around the NES 10 chip, which was the famous lockout chip. If you've read, books and articles and stuff about the early days of the NES, you know about this chip. Because they didn't have like a way to easily get around it, what they wound up having to do is they had to... Oh, that was a foul on me? Yeah, this game sucks, man. Wow. This is pretty bad. Anyway, to get around the NES lockout chip, since they didn't actually have a way to do that, what they ended up doing was they ended up creating this system that would allow them to put like a shock into the game, basically. And so that's what they did to get around the chip. By the way, they were telling me wrong. It's A to shoot, B to pass, not B to shoot, A to pass. So the instructions here are exactly backwards. I'm not sure why I'm diving to stop something from going out of bounds. Now, believe it or not, this game's actually better than the baseball game here, which I've played before a little while ago. That game is bad. This game is... Yeah, it's manageable. I'll put it to you that way. It's, it's pretty bad. I don't know, like, did these companies, like, not playtest things or what? Anyway, so the Aladdin Deck Enhancer, in theory, was supposed to make it so that you could get, like, more memory in your NES and stuff like that. The reality, though, is that it had nothing to do with the amount of memory that you were getting. All the thing the Deck Enhancer was intended to do was to like create an automated system to get around the lockout chip. And the way I missed this part, but the way the Codemasters decided to get around the lockout chip was to send an electrical shock to the system itself, which is why back in the old days there were things, at least in the United States, warning you that if you used non-licensed NES software, that your system might be physically damaged. It was because of the games that this company put out. Like if you look at, they had the old baby blue cartridges, like Linus Space Adventure or something like that, right? And so if you get those old baby blue cartridges and if you try them on like, I don't know, like a normal like NES top loader unit or something like that, one of the things that came out a little bit later, it will fry your system. Like it will break your machine. So you can't do that, right? And the reason why is because it gives off this electrical charge within the game that's designed to temporarily freeze the lockout chip. But you see the dude, why can't my keeper stop that? That's ridiculous. But you see, the thing with the with those versions of the system is that like there was absolutely no lockout chip to disable. So you know, if you're trying to use this on like one of the top loaders with like the dog bone controller or whatever, all it's going to do is send an electrical charge straight to your machine and basically fry it for good. So yeah, welcome to the world of. Yeah, it's A to shoot. It seriously is A to shoot. It's amazing. But yeah, welcome to the world of unlicensed NES Slop. You know, that's what they did. It's a lot different than what Tengen did, right? So Tengen had done a little bit of a legal trick to get to legally get a copy of the original NES. Dude, how was that a penalty? Wow, this game is bad. Tengen had gotten a copy of the NES lockout, chip and basically the key, and it just made a copy of that for its games. That's how Tengen came out with like Tengen Tetris and RBI Baseball and all the other stuff. This company, meanwhile, didn't have the ability to do that, so they just decided to, do some like total hardware hacking and all this other junk. And so anyway, that's the story behind this game. This game is bad, man. This game is really bad. Wow. Anyway, so you should cherish this moment because this is a game I'm certainly never going to play again. What happened there? I didn't get the goal? They didn't count? How come it didn't count? Anyway, this game and this system and stuff is supposed to have enhanced graphics for the NES, but as you can clearly see, there's nothing enhanced about this whatsoever. I mean, it just looks like garbage. And it plays like garbage too. This is a really, really bad game. Alright, so we got France the winner. Yeah, so it says they're copyright 1991. It says this is not a simulator. This is, just sort of like a one-off thing. I don't know. We could play this if we wanted. But the truth is, I'm just doing this a little bit to sort of waste a little bit of time. If we go back into this and hit restart, like the other games you have on this, they all suck. Oh, no, wait. We can't restart it because it's already got us into this particular game. We'd have to go and... probably close the content and then, start it up again. So anyway, for some reason they programmed it this way. I'll have to look at a different time of the other games, not games I'm particularly interested in. I think that this is a copy again of four soccer simulators, which came out on the ZX Spectrum and the Amstrad CPC, and also apparently had an MS-DOS version. I'll have to check that out as well. That game, by this time, that was a game from 1988, so that game was like 4 years old by the time this one came out. It gives you an example or an idea of sort of what we're dealing with here. Yeah, this is garbage. This is 100% garbage tier, so don't play it. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.